Today we are talking about TikTokers who turned out to be cold-blooded killers. Mahek Bukhari, a popular TikToker with the blood of 2 men on her hands, including her own mother's secret lover. And Herrin, a guy who somehow became an internet heartthrob for thousands of young girls right after committing a double homicide.
Are you upset about what happened? Do you have anything to say to the victim's family?
Let us start with Mahek Bukhari, known to her fans as Maya. If you look at her TikTok account, you will see pretty standard content. A young woman dancing, showing off outfits, talking about makeup, and posting comedy skits.
I love it when girls are like, your boyfriend used to talk to me. Yeah, I know. I make fun of him for it, like, all the time.
Some of her videos were duets with her mom. In fact, one video was uploaded less than a month before the point of no return, when Mahek Bukhari would take the life of her mother's lover by burning him alive inside a car. Let us rewind to the very beginning. Herrin Bukhari, the mother in this story, was born in Pakistan but raised in the United Kingdom. Her entire life, she dreamed of becoming a flight attendant. But her parents were against it for some reason, so Herrin gave up on her dreams, followed the traditional path, got married, had 2 kids, and became a stay-at-home mom. She barely ever left the house, spending most of her time raising her children and taking care of the family home in the city of Stoke-on-Trent. That was her life for years, until her daughter Mahek blew up as a viral TikToker. Maya started taking her mom along to practically every party she got invited to. At one of those parties, 42-year-old Herrin met 18-year-old Saqib Hussain. Eventually, they started an affair. According to her, Saqib lied about his age when they met and claimed he was 27. But they had actually connected online before that. Saqib found her through Maya's Instagram, and they started messaging each other. Here is how Herrin described it. "When I got married, I became a stay-at-home mom. Because of TikTok, I actually started going out more. It felt like 2 completely different lives, and it was so much more exciting. We went out, met people, and so on." Their relationship dragged on until January of 2022. This whole time, Herrin was living under the same roof as her husband's son and daughter, while actively cheating on her husband with an 18-year-old boy. Saqib did not seem bothered by the situation at all, and frequently sent gifts directly to her family home. Eventually, likely terrified of getting caught by her husband, Herrin decided to break things off. But she handled it like a child. Instead of having an adult conversation, she chose total silence. She simply stopped answering his calls and messages. Saqib did not appreciate being ghosted at all, and he decided that blackmail and threats were a fantastic way to win her back, or at least force a conversation. To be specific, he threatened to send explicit photos and home videos, if you catch my drift, to her husband and her son, unless she agreed to meet up and talk. Despite these threats, Herrin refused. Saqib bombarded her with texts, saying, "You keep making me angrier by ignoring me. I will do something you will regret. I am a crazy son of a gun." On top of the threats, the guy started demanding money. Specifically, 3,000 British pounds, which comes out to roughly 3,800 American dollars. Herrin had no idea how to handle her aggressive ex, so she came clean to her daughter. Maya took matters into her own hands and reassured her mother, saying, "My mom is like a sister to me. We are best friends, and I know she is the one person I can trust with absolutely anything." Maya reached out to an old friend named Rekhan Karwan, explained the situation, and together, they started putting together a plan to eliminate Hussain permanently. Here is exactly how it went down. On the night between February 10th and February 11th of 2022, Saqib Hussain and his friend Mohammed pulled into the parking lot of a Tesco supermarket in Leicester to collect the £3,000 Saqib had been demanding. Surveillance cameras captured their gray Skoda Fabia entering the lot, with Mohammed behind the wheel. As you probably guessed, the group was already waiting for them to give them what you might call a very warm welcome. Inside this Audi TT, marked by the red arrow, were Ansreen and Mahek Bukhari, Rekan Karwan, and a man named Mohammed Patel. In a second car, a blue seat Leon, were brothers Rais and Amir Jamal, Natasha Akhtar, and a man named Sanaf Ghulam Mustafa. This whole crew was basically one tight-knit group of friends. Saqib instantly felt that something was horribly wrong and decided it was time to get out of there. He hit the gas and sped away. A short moment later, the blue seat, driven by Rais, took off after the Skoda. And just like that, the high-speed chase began, with the Audi TT joining in right behind them. Maya called Saqib during the pursuit and ordered him to meet her at the nearest supermarket parking lot. When he refused, Maya responded, "You will see what I do to you." During the chase, Saqib frantically dialed 999, which for anyone listening in the States is the British equivalent of 911. When the dispatcher answered, a terrified Saqib said,
"Two cars are chasing me and trying to box me in. I cannot get to a police station. I need help. There are guys chasing me. They are wearing balaclavas. They are trying to run me off the road. They are trying to kill me. I'm going to die. They just hit the back of the car. Please, I am begging you. I am going to die. They are trying to force us off the road. Please, I am asking you."
Right during that call, after another violent ram to the rear bumper, the Skoda Fabia went flying off the road and slammed directly into a tree. Official reports from Leicestershire Police state that the impact was so catastrophic that the car was torn completely in half. The engine was ripped clean out of the frame, and the vehicle burst into flames. Saqib Hussain and his friend, Mohammed Hashim Ijazuddin, died instantly at the scene. Rescuers could not pull them from the burning wreckage in time. A GPS tracking device installed on the rented Audi TT showed that during the chase, it reached insane speeds of up to 161 miles per hour. Investigators estimated that the Skoda was traveling at over 80 miles per hour at the exact moment of impact. The tracker on the Audi also recorded heavy braking right after the crash, dropping its speed down to around 62 miles per hour. It turned out that both the Audi and the seat continued driving down the A46 highway before pulling over at an intersection, where two people stepped out of the vehicle, presumably to check for body damage. After that, both cars drove right back past the crash site at the exact moment the Skoda was engulfed in flames, and not a single person in either car bothered to call emergency services. Neighborhood surveillance footage showed the entire crew casually strolling around together early that morning, right after the killing. And once they all went home, Phone records revealed a flurry of calls and text messages back and forth between everyone involved throughout the morning of February 11th. That very same day, police analyzed the crash scene, reviewed surveillance footage, and quickly realized this was no accident. They rapidly identified everyone involved and located the seat. And here is the kicker. Forensic analysis later proved that this exact car was used as the actual murder weapon, because paint transfer from the Skoda was found right on its bumper. Natasha was the first to be arrested at around 4:45 in the morning. Just a few hours later, police arrested Herrin and Mahek Bukhari.
Where were you? Where was that?
So we stayed here, and then we went straight to Nottingham.
Right. Okay. In the Audi.
Yes, Audi. Yeah.
Maya initially claimed that on the night of February 10th, she and her mother had driven to Nottingham, not Leicester. She later changed her story.
There's a car that's coming on the right-hand side, a Seat Leon, don't know the model or anything, but it was blue.
But both women stuck to the ridiculous cover story that they were simply following Hussein in hopes of having a peaceful chat. Maya even told officers that she saw the Skoda swerve onto the A46 right before crashing into the barrier, claiming she prayed for the men and broke down in tears when she learned they had died.
We have seen continued lies and deceit from the defendants as they tried to evade responsibility for the killings. They showed complete disdain for the lives of their victims.
Locked behind bars is clearly a relief. However, there's no real justice because my beloved baby brother will never come back.
All of that acting collapsed because of one thing: the frantic 999 recording, which proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was a deliberate, premeditated ambush. On August 4th of 2023, after 28 hours of jury deliberation, Mahek Bukhari, her mother Ansrain, Rekan Karwan, and Rais Jamal were all found guilty of double murder. Natasha, Amir, and Sanaf were convicted of manslaughter. Mohammed Patel was the only person acquitted. 24-year-old Mahek Bukhari, her 46-year-old mother Ansrain, along with Rais Jamal and Rekan Karwan, were all sentenced to life in prison. Sanaf Ghulam Mustafa and Amir Jamal were each handed 14 years behind bars, while Natasha Akhtar received 11 years. During sentencing, Judge Timothy Spencer stated that Bukhari's hollow fame as an influencer left her completely obsessed with herself, driven by an unjustified sense of entitlement and a total inability to recognize the harm she was causing. He added that prosecutors were spot on to classify this as cold-blooded murder. Well, that is certainly one extreme way to help your mom get rid of a blackmailing ex-boyfriend. Now, our next story is not about a famous influencer who turned into a killer. It is actually the exact opposite. This is the story of a guy who killed a young mother and her baby, and somehow became an internet heartthrob for girls all over the world. Cameron Herrin was born on September 9, 1999, in Texas, where he lived with his family until 2005, when they relocated to Florida and bought a home worth $1.4 million. Cameron's parents were clearly very well off. His mother worked as a vice president at an insurance company, while his father worked as a videographer and editor, mostly producing corporate presentations. By the time Cameron turned 18, he was graduating from a Catholic high school in Tampa, Florida, and planning to study marketing at Hillsborough Community College. To celebrate his graduation, his parents bought him a brand new 2018 Mustang GT. At the time, none of them had any clue that this car would become not just a graduation gift, but the weapon behind an unthinkable tragedy. On May 23rd of 2018, Cameron, his brother Tristan, and their friend John Barrineau decided that street racing sounded like a fun idea. A Nissan Altima, driven by John, and the Mustang, driven by Cameron, tore through the streets of Tampa, completely oblivious to how this decision would ruin lives forever. Tristan was riding along as a passenger. At that exact moment, 24-year-old Jessica Reisinger Rabinolt was pushing a stroller with her baby daughter Lilia across a pedestrian crosswalk. Cameron's Mustang was flying down the road at over 102 miles per hour, which was more than double the speed limit. Both mother and daughter were rushed to a Tampa hospital, where Jessica was pronounced dead. Doctors fought relentlessly to save baby Lilia, but her injuries were far too severe, and she passed away the following day. All three teenagers were arrested at the scene. And in the mugshots and video footage, these street racers suddenly did not look nearly as thrilled with themselves. But this story is not just about a fatal car crash. What I really want to dive into is what happened after the arrest, when news of the incident blew up across the internet at lightning speed, triggering a bizarre fan cult around Cameron Herrin, mostly on TikTok and Twitter. His followers obsessively tracked every single detail of the trial. Every day, thousands of posts flooded social media, feeling sorry for this poor, unfortunate guy. Once word broke that he was facing 24 years behind bars, the internet completely lost its mind. According to his fans, 24 years was way too harsh, because he is just way too cute for jail. Videos urging people to spam police stations and courthouses with calls demanding a reduced sentence went massively viral. Some guys even tried to mimic Cameron's look, posting TikToks cosplaying as him, racking up millions of likes and tens of millions of views. Cameron's official account, where he had never even posted a single video, accumulated over 2 million followers before it was finally deleted. I remember this whole circus vividly. If you want to avoid getting completely enraged, I strongly advise you never to look up these videos on TikTok or read the comment sections. I already suffered through that mess for you. So let me summarize the general vibe of those comments. People were writing things like, "I know what he did was wrong, but everyone deserves a second chance." Or, "24 years is way too long for a mistake." Along with an endless pile of garbage claiming that he is still young with his whole life ahead of him. He is too handsome to be behind bars, and of course, free Cameron. Meanwhile, absolutely nobody seemed to give a damn about Jessica and baby Lilia, whose lives he brutally ended. They will never get a second chance at anything. You want to hear something totally mind-boggling? I even stumbled upon a petition titled, "Justice for 21-year-old Cameron Herrin, who is imprisoned for 24 years." It was hosted on change.org. And guess what? At one point, that absolute nonsense managed to pull in 33,719 signatures. Just think about that number for a second. Even now, there are still active petitions on that website, though people aren't signing them as eagerly anymore. In April of 2021, Hillsborough County Judge Christopher Nash sentenced Cameron Herrin to 24 years in prison for vehicular homicide and illegal street racing. John Baranow took a plea deal, pleading guilty to 2 counts of vehicular homicide and street racing. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, followed by 15 years of probation. Once all legal appeals are exhausted, Cameron is expected to serve his full 24-year sentence, meaning he will not see freedom until 2044, when he will be around 40 years old. In my opinion, this was no tragic accident. If you are stupid enough to treat city streets like a racetrack at insanely illegal speeds, then you better be prepared to face the music, because, my friend, you are a killer waiting to happen. And that applies just as much to anyone who gets behind the wheel while intoxicated.